Buongiorno, everyone. Buongiorno, Bonnie.
Buongiorno, Jackie.
And welcome to episode 15 of Sakura Popcast, where your K drama musings come to life. You can also check out YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, and any other podcast medium you use to listen to this podcast. Wow, we are episode 15 already.
Wow, time flies.
Fabulous. Fabulous. How in the world are you, Bonnie?
I am all right. How are you?
Cool. I'm doing well too. I've been trying to brush up a little bit of Italiano these past few days. I haven't really gotten anywhere so far. It's hard to just pick up and learn because I'm not listening to it enough. I just hear these phrases that Vincenzo says from time to time, and I put it into my translator device, and it spits something out at me that does not sound like what he just said. So, more fine tuning is necessary. It's probably due to Netflix's translation that does not hit quite right. But in any case, we are now at episode 7 and 8. We now finally have some lawyering, real, book based courtroom stuff. Maybe not so real because they called two surprise witnesses
Yeah,
and
which
just
is not a
evidence
thing in
that,
real life.
yeah, evidence has to be presented to the judge beforehand as exhibits, like Exhibit A, Exhibit B. And then at that time, like that evidence has to be validated through the judicial system first before being able to make any sort of decisions on it. So having surprise witnesses and uh, being able to just show up with surprise evidence doesn't really happen in real life.
No, but none of these shows would, occur if they had to follow that rule.
That's true. Yep. And it is because of these surprises that allows our protagonist to counterattack most
Hmm.
effectively.
Yeah, so
Hmm.
how did you feel about those two surprise witnesses?
Ooh, the courtroom battle was very fun.
Hmm.
And it's a nice setup. I feel like Vincenzo does a lot of baiting. He digs up people's personal background and history
Hmm.
outside of the realm of regular law practice. His usual mafia ways in action, and he takes advantage of them to the full extent. Punishes bad people for the bad things they do, regardless if it's personal or if it's inside the working life. And he can turns around and twist the knife in the other direction at Babel. Very cunning.
Yeah, and that's what I kind of admire about him is the fact that he's so resourceful, right?
Yeah, imagine making yourself the bait
Yeah.
and getting arrested for beating up a whole bunch of guys in a restaurant, and then coming forward, admitting that you did that, but at the same time using that opportunity to present new evidence and confound the judge and convince the rest of the audience the corrupt practices of Babel.
That was very smart of him. I like that.
Yeah, he has a very able partner to help him as well.
Yeah. Although, if I have to be nitpicky, he is a lawyer, and the fact that he had to get arrested and stuff, I don't know how that would affect him in terms of his professional designation and reputation and all. You know what I mean? Like if you really
Right.
think about it,
Does
is
he
that
get
really a smart
suspended
move?
from the bar for a while, kind of thing?
Yeah, even though he's an Italian lawyer,
He's
so
an
but still.
advisor though in the
Yeah.
capacity.
So there's all that conflict of interest and I don't know, it's we just can't think too hard about it because it
Yeah,
doesn't
that's
make
right.
sense.
Yes, suspend your belief about everything that you thought you knew about lawyers and court practices. None of that really applies.
No, just enjoy it for
Yeah.
entertainment purposes basically.
Hmm. What's interesting is this must be this probably like a high court in somewhere in Korea, and they've got three judges sitting on a panel, and there's no jury. It's just the judges, the defendants, the uh, prosecution.
I think
Well,
it's
not
because it's
prosecution. What's it called? This is civil liab. This
yeah,
civil
it's
law.
civil, so I don't think you get juries for that, right?
Ah, okay.
Because it's not a
Right.
criminal case.
Of course. Yes. Got it.
So it's the complainant and the defendant.
Yes. Very good, Bonnie.
That's all I know. Or maybe I'm just making that up. Who knows? I'm not a lawyer. Full
we
disclosure.
So we had Vincenzo as a first surprise witness, but it's really the second surprise witness that wins the day for them, I
For sure.
believe. Vincenzo started it, like he just kick-started it off, but
Yep.
it wouldn't have given them the win right there and then. Yeah, so
Yeah.
they pulled the wife of the very corrupt and dishonorable doctor up to be a surprise witness, and she dished it all out. And none of the evidence, like her emails and stuff, none of that was refuted. So it's great. It all went well for them.
So it's to show that even though the judge was bribed, he doesn't have a choice in this case, I guess.
Yeah,
He has
because
to
there would be a
accept
public
everything.
outcry.
So that's
Yeah,
that's good.
yeah. When something is so irrefutable, you, you can't if you did anything to try to deny it, then you would be probably placed in the crosshairs very soon by the rest of the Korean population,
Yeah,
right?
it would
So
be
as a
too
judge,
obvious.
yeah, as a judge, you don't want that.
Right. So that was
Mm-hmm.
amazing. I like that scene.
Mm-hmm. And it gives Vincenzo another opportunity to use his art of seduction to win the female favor.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest.
What? Even when he said cheers to your beautiful eyes.
Yeah. But it's kind of like I don't want him to be just using his beauty to get places.
He's got to use every weapon and every tool in the arsenal.
Yeah.
That's his thing. Like you said, he's resourceful to a
He's
fault.
resourceful. But on the other hand, if he was a female, then people would be like, oh, the feminists would be like, oh, why are we treating females just for their beauty and blah, blah, blah. And I think in this case, you can say that about him too. It's like, why does it always boil down to him and people's attraction to him? Why can't it be because of his smarts and other things? So I think they can tone down on it. I'm okay with them using it once in a while, but that's my opinion.
Oh, this is just episode 7. when we
Yeah,
t- well, there's more
I know.
seduction.
I know.
Yes, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. And I think he uses his looks and his charm as a way to get attention. Get the other person's ear, get them to listen to you first, and then present their tangible advantages to bring that person to your side. So the looks and his mannerisms, only serve to hook somebody in, like a good movie does. You know, and once you're hooked in, like you buy into everything else.
Mhm.
It's
It's
just a
like the
means
first
to an
impression.
end.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, imagine if he sent his legal secretary to make that first impression. It doesn't matter how good of an argument that you've got, that lady isn't going to be convinced.
It's the
Yes,
charisma too, I guess.
that's right. Charisma, looks, it can do wonders. And flattering,
Mhm.
that can do a lot too. I do like, the setting where that all took place, when Vincenzo approached the surprise witness that he's trying to convince to come onto his side. And I think this show does culture really well, like presents, Italian and overall just general Europeanness and working that in there.
Mhm.
And so they were looking at this French oil painting that's really well known. I mean, anybody who's anybody, most people would have seen this painting at some point of their lives. It's a painting called Liberty Leading the People by French artist Eugène Delacroix, painted in 1830, and it's got this big historical background to it. It depicts as as a spotlighted personification of liberty, and it was done kind of around the time when the French Revolution happened, and it's been a few decades have passed, and then Napoleon came in. Napoleon was booted out, and uh, they're trying to reboot the French monarchy. So they actually tried to reboot the French monarchy a couple times. It just never took.
Hmm.
Some bad decisions were made. The country's still really divided about, what they believe in should be the foundation of their society. And yeah, this painting seems to kind of speak to all of that. So I do respect that they've worked some historical and cultural aspects about French history into the show. It's just a neat nod. And because I am a total European history buff, I pay a lot of attention to these little details.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely put more significance into that painting than I did.
You know
So,
Coldplay, right, Bonnie?
yeah.
This painting was used on the cover of their one of their albums.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh.
and it ties into their song that they're really famous for, Vive. Oh, it's like I used to rule the world.
Mhm.
Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah,
dun.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that song.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
Yes.
cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And if you listen to the lyrics, then you'll see how, how they kind of how the painting and the lyrics go hand in hand. It's all about change, about revolutionizing things, about finding your values,
Hmm.
inspiring stuff. We finally have the real win that you wanted all this time.
Yes.
Like last episode, you asked, well, okay, so the warehouse has been burned down, but what of all of the people who suffered from Babel's machinations? What about our victims, our
Mhm.
victims' families? Like they took this drug and it caused them a great deal of harm. Did they get anything from it aside from some vindication that you stuck it to Babel Corporation? And in this episode, we did.
Yeah, so that felt good.
Yep. Yes. Tell us what happened with these victims. What did they get out of this hearing?
I thought they got compensation and an apology, right?
Yep.
Was there something else?
Nope.
I don't remember.
But well,
It's been
actually,
2
okay,
weeks since
yes.
I watched it.
Okay, no, there is something else. So there is the tangible compensation, and of course that's really important. But Babbel is officially apologizing,
Right.
formally admitting to the rest of the world that they did wrong.
Yeah.
That is a big deal.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
their shares like took a nosedive, and
Yeah.
none of the banks would lend to them. So that kicks off episode 8. We have more comedy and more chances for Vincenzo to show off his seduction prowess.
Yeah. So more seduction, which again, funny, but maybe
Yeah,
overused.
it's overdone,
Yeah.
but it was hilarious. I'm glad they didn't play out that gag for too long. It only
Yeah.
lasted one whole episode, which is long enough.
Mhm.
It was very funny. I mean, sensitivities aside, because I can feel that some people might think that, that episode 8 hits a really wrong note.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. It's a little bit homophobic. I'm just gonna say it. I feel.
Yeah, it plays up the flamboyancy very loudly.
And not only that, it's the fact that he was so against it and so like creeped out by it. I think, if it was a female he had to seduce, he wouldn't have as much of a problem.
Hmm.
And that's that's how I felt. So I felt a little uncomfortable watching it because of that. The fact that, maybe they didn't handle it super well from a diversity point of view.
I'm sure they offended a whole mass of people.
Yeah.
At the moment, Korean society really isn't openly accepting. The LGBT community don't have the same rights. But so I really did have to push all of my feelings about that aside in order to enjoy this episode, which I was adamant on doing. I want to enjoy the show.
Yeah, there are lots of twists and turns. I give them that.
When he aims to achieve something, he really pulls out all the stops.
Yeah, I think it really gave him a boost when his suitor admitted to framing his mom.
Mhm.
And that's when he's like, "All right, I'm in. I'm doing this."
Mhm. Mhm. Yep.
And I was hoping that he would, like, at the end of the day, he was still able to get to what he wanted in terms of for the case. But I was hoping that there would be a little bit more. Maybe I'm greedy. I was hoping that he would be able to use that against them for his mom's case too.
I I was expecting the same thing.
Mhm. Right?
I don't know why he couldn't.
I wonder, you know what I mean? Like I'm like, "Oh, he could have taken it a step further and helped his mom's case."
That's
Maybe.
right. I suppose that's just the way the cookie crumbled.
Mhm.
He didn't go for it. Maybe he didn't think he'd be successful. Maybe he didn't think it was worthwhile because what's he gonna gain out of it really? Like he wanted Babel, both him and Cha Young, and
Mhm.
Babel's their top priority. Everything else is secondary.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, he's probably struggling with those feelings right now. And the evidence would be hard to come by. Although knowing Vincenzo,
Yeah.
yeah, he could have pulled it off if he really had his mind on it. That is what we call a plot hole.
Mhm.
It just went into a black hole somewhere and won't be brought up for who knows how long. His mom doesn't have very long, so I
Yeah.
really wonder how they will be wrapping that up.
I don't think it would be a good ending.
Yeah, it seems like the whole so every couple episodes they are fighting a new sprung up branch of an enemy.
Mhm.
So, for example, they started out with like Babbel's kind of middle management or lower management who are
Mhm.
just trying to bulldoze the plaza.
Right.
And he took care of those guys by digging into their personal backgrounds.
Oh yeah.
But he took care of them. And then the prosecutor, and now the bank that's corrupt and was going to collude with Babel. There's like this open and shut case in every couple episodes or so. That's
Which I
how
is
they've
good.
set it
I
up.
like that. Cuz
Yeah, I
I
like
don't
that.
like it when it's too like when there's too much um like too much tension for too long. You need some forms of relief once in a while, right?
Yep, that's right. You need fresh faces to
Mhm.
get into the brawl. New people for Vincenzo to manipulate
To show
and
off
to
his skills.
punish. Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
yes, because there
That's
are
what makes this show interesting.
yeah, there are lots of corrupt institutions.
Oh yeah.
Uh, we uh, we said last episode this includes the whole like judicial system, the judges, the prosecutors, but also um, regular members of society. Like you've got reporters, other professions. You have cops, and who knows what else. Like
Mhm.
are gas station attendants and delivery boys going to be under Babel's thumb as well?
Who knows?
How webbed are your connections and how far does it spread, I wonder?
I'm sure we'll see more. Like you said, it's only episode 7
8.
or 8, sorry.
Yep. But yeah, we're getting there. Loose ends are starting to get tied up.
Mhm.
When doors closes, new doors open.
Mhm.
Now, how about our budding romance between Cha Yong and Vincenzo?
So, I still stand at where we were at last time. Well, given I haven't watched any more episodes. um, and I think this time at least I won't be able to, I mean, I won't spoil it, but they had that whole scene about him talking about how he is not supposed to love or whatever when they were in a coffee shop.
It's hard to figure out if he meant that for himself. Do people say
Mhm.
these things thinking it's meant for themselves? Or is it a more like a commentary about people in general, about bad guys in general? So you think that he's pointing to himself when he says that,
I think he's pointing to his belief when he said that.
right?
So,
And then Cha Yong,
yeah.
she parried and asked him pointedly the question like, does this apply to you too? Can you love?
Mhm. And I forgot what he said.
He didn't say anything.
He didn't say anything. Yeah.
Nope. He just, smiled, that cute little smile, and continued sipping his coffee.
Yeah. So, I think
She's curious, very
she is
curious
curious.
about.
Yeah, it's obvious she's interested in him at this point because every time he talks about leaving, you can see that she's sad.
She covers it up very well, but yes,
Yeah.
the sadness and is there,
Hmm.
and the not really wanting him to leave. She is slowly but surely falling for him.
Just like the rest of the world and everyone else in this show, apparently.
How could you not?
It's true.
But I get the sense that Cha Yong, she is recognizing her feelings. Like she's a very intelligent woman.
Hmm.
She knows she likes somebody when she likes them, but she's also restraining herself because she knows where her priorities lie. And for somebody who's been a career woman all her life, uh, I get the sense that um, She would rather not confuse matters at the moment. So she's keeping her feelings
Mhm.
in check.
Yeah, I mean, they have priorities right now, and like we talked about last time, we don't want romance to be in the forefront for them, um, because it makes the show less interesting, right? We want it to be more
Yep,
about the
that's right.
case, about Babel,
Yeah,
about
this
fighting justice for justice, etc.
yeah, exactly. It's about all of that, everything that you just said, Bonnie. And
Mm-hmm.
the central theme in the show is not romance.
Right.
Yep,
Which I'm okay with.
yep, me too. I'm happy with that. It's
Mm-hmm.
fun this way.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun.
More lawyering.
Yep. If there is actual lawyering,
Hopefully.
that is. A lot of it is like, threatening, bribing,
Yeah.
stabbing people in the back, sending private detectives after them, beating people up,
But
and
even
mhm.
the second hearing, I was going to say, they still made it kind of ridiculous at the end. You know how she was like, the witness was hitting her husband. I'm pretty
Oh
sure you're not
yeah,
supposed to do that.
I love that. It always ends in chaos, no
Yeah,
matter
it's
how
like,
serious the scene is.
it's so good. It's so legit. And then, okay, ridiculous again.
Yes, let's just let people's feelings vent, regardless of it's appropriate or not for the situation.
Yeah,
And
hilarious.
it's the same with the hospital scene. It was so serious and sad. I
Yeah.
love she's like, just come closer. Come closer, I have something to tell you. And she takes his head and gives him a good shake off.
And then the other girl pulls off his hair.
Yeah. Yes. She decided to, join in into the fray.
Oh,
And
man.
that's I really like the show for being able to hit that balance of drama, seriousness, and comedy.
Yeah.
It's very rare and it's a delicate balance to hit. Difficult to achieve, but they've done it in this sort of gaggish way, but
Yeah.
um it doesn't put you off at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Fun
lot of
times.
fun for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So in every serious scene, the tension can be broken
Yep.
in the most unexpected way, but
It
always
is.
in the most satisfying way.
Exactly. So that's fine.
Yes.
Even though
Yep.
they're not like true winners yet, at least you get these little reliefs, right?
Mhm. I tell you, every time that Joong Ki models in a new suit, and I say model because he comes out strutting like a
Mm-hmm.
runway model, it's
Mm-hmm.
fabulous. What a feast on the eyes. Like when
For
he
the
was on
fans.
horseback. Yeah.
For the fans. Oh, I liked his outfit, that scene.
Oh, yeah.
With the scarf.
Yes. Just kind of billowing behind him.
Mm-hmm. And his hairstyle, I liked his hairstyle there more. It
Mm-hmm.
was down instead of gelled up.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Kind of you shed that professional image
Mm-hmm. And he looked
and you
younger.
adopt a more, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. Anytime he shows up, like in new clothes, it's, that you could just paste that onto a double page advertisement of Vogue and it will look totally in place. So, how about our villains? Jungwoo, he is as unconvincing a villain as ever.
Yes, as
He's
always.
he's rather he can go pretty mental, taking his golf club on and smashing it against the car, his very expensive car, and
Is
like
that his
yelling at
car?
people.
I think it's a company's car.
Regardless, it's a nice car.
Oh, I don't think he
What
cares.
kind of person would do that? honestly.
I don't think he cares. I think he was just angry and he can't control his emotions. And that just shows what kind of a person he is, right? He does things that are very like irrational and just out of anger. But at the end of the day, he doesn't really have the tact or the intelligence behind it.
He seems to keep saying that he does. He's gonna win by
Yeah.
whatever means necessary. It's not happening so far, but he seems pretty convinced in his own ability.
Well, he has no abilities. He's using other people with his money. So I'm not convinced that he has any ability above these people. I was impressed by the Busan lawyer with her resourcefulness
Yes,
during
true.
the bank signing scene. I was like, yes, go, you go. Even though she's like the bad guy, but I was like, okay, at least I respect you for
Yep,
having the
that's right.
resources to do that, right?
It's a bit more tete-a-tete with
Yeah,
Vincenzo's strategies.
exactly. And he respects her too because he sent her that little message.
Junwoo, he's really an observer.
Yeah.
For a villain of his status, he's still mainly an observer right now.
Mm-hmm.
It bothers me that he killed his dad out of spitefulness.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this guy is the definition of a psychopath. He lacks empathy for others. He's reckless. He'll harm people. He uses people as more like pawns and tools and objects, and fails to really have a human side.
Yeah, so he's not remorseful in terms of what he did. And he is obviously, I think that scene with his dad shows that he's able to do things that are very cold blooded,
Oh, yeah.
which is scary for a villain because you can see that, there's no turning back. He could do anything. There's no limits to what he can do. If he can kill his dad, he can do anything, right? So,
Yeah.
like what we were talking about last time with Cha Young, yeah, sure. If he has feelings for her, great. But I doubt that that's going to be helpful for her at the end of the day. Like if he can
Yeah.
hurt his dad, he can hurt her too.
Yeah. Yes. I fear where this is gonna go.
Mm
Although he seems to only be able to hurt people if they're already in a vulnerable position.
hmm. Mm hmm.
So as long as the Vincenzo and Chaeyoung protect each other well, then it won't give him any opportunities to take advantage of vulnerability, of any cracks in their armor.
Yeah.
He can have no
It's going to be
cracks.
hard to do though because everyone has vulnerabilities, right? So
Let's see how this goes. I
that,
bet, our listeners who
yeah,
may be ahead of us, they're just thinking, oh, you don't know.
you'll
You have
see.
no idea what's coming up next.
Yeah. So that I'm fearful for.
Hey, we're happy to be surprised.
That's true.
Let's see how this
I've been
goes.
constantly surprised so far. So,
Hmm. What's with the gun? Our younger Babel son now has procured himself a
mm-hmm.
weapon. What's he gonna do with that? I'm pretty sure it's illegal in the most case to like casually own a handgun in Korea, and it's definitely not easy to obtain. What's his motive? Because firepower really hasn't been a big a part in the strategy so far. Did he just get it for kicks to feel good about himself?
I am sure that's going to be a key thing. That's going to, key plot device. And I'm starting to feel really bad for him. This guy has been traumatized, basically. He saw his brother kill his dad. He grew up, you know, as a puppet for his brother without any control of his life. And, the scene where he loads up the gun and like tries to shoot the driver for fun and then laughs, I was like, this guy's breaking. He's going to do something.
He's gonna turn into his older brother.
Yeah, but against who, Like you said
Yeah.
last time, if he is going to help Vincenzo, then great. I don't mind that. But who knows what
So
he's gonna do?
he's a grenade who's about to explode. He's taken enough.
Mm-hmm.
But my prediction from last episode is that he will be somehow used or won over to our protagonist side
Hopefully.
because that's a beef that he has with a common enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Every episode, we need a quote, and this is it.
I don't have a good one this episode,
We'll use
except
that one.
I did have cheers to your beautiful eyes,
I don't like
which
that one as
sound
much.
it sounds too hokey, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Do you watch the pre-episode trailers at the end of each episode?
Yes.
Because I watched them, and for the past two episodes now, no, even further than that, maybe like for the past four episodes, really, there's been uh, vintages put together as episode preview that shows a lot of guns and a lot of guns pointing at people
Mm-hmm.
and shooting them. But so far, we've had like two shots fired.
Mm-hmm.
Vincenzo, he fired, some warning shots and are pointing the gun at your chauffeur. And that's it.
Yep. I think
There.
those ones would come later. I feel like gun scenes like that are usually the climax of the show, so it's gonna take a while to get there. That's my prediction.
Okay. All right. Let's not rely too much on guns yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. That's not the point
Let's use
of
brains.
winning a legal battle. That's right.
Exactly.
Brains
Come
over
on, guys.
brawn. Yeah. Oh, I went ahead over to episode 9, just the first like 10 minutes or so. And I would like to just deliver a little bit of a language education or language tip, let's call it. So you'll hear the term pabo, and in Korean it does mean something like that word, but it's meant to be a play on words. So Chayoung and Vincenzo has come up with a nickname, a rather clever nickname for the real boss of Babel. So they're still trying to fish him out.
Mm-hmm.
They're using tactics to draw out Junwoo, who they whose real identity they don't know. And they haven't been successful so far, but they decided to at least identify and refer to this person with a nickname. So they say, oh, okay, this is the boss of Babel, so it's Babel Boss. Let's shorten that to Pabo.
That's cute.
And it's a play of words because the word Pabo in Korean means idiot,
Oh, really?
stupid. Yeah, it's still saying somebody's stupid. So
That's
it's
good.
rather clever, and you won't see that in the Netflix subtitle. They don't explain it.
That's funny.
So that's why I wanted to relay that to our viewers. Yeah,
That's
it is
great.
very funny.
Yeah. Very smart.
I like that. Such smart writing in the show. So we are at the end. It's been fun.
It has, and I'm looking forward to watching more episodes
Yep,
finally.
yep, yep, yep. Yes. We will be reacting to episodes 9 and 10 next week. So stay tuned. This has been Jackie and Bonnie on Sakura Pop. Thank you very much for watching. And remember, you can subscribe, like, and favorite, and catch our show on any streaming media of your choice. And we are off. Arrivederci.
Arrivederci.